User stories. User stories have been known to have been coined by Ken Beck and Alistair Cogburn. As to who owns it is something that has to be discussed later. But today, let me just talk about user stories. User stories are a way of capturing requirements that meet the user's needs. It could be a customer, an employee, an internal or external user, and it's based on that particular user's needs. Teams have used user stories in replacing functional requirements which capture the functions that a particular user would be using on the system. And based on that, there's a syntax that is used for capturing user story as a I want so that. So an example will be, as a user, I want to be able to easily transfer money to another user within the bank so that I can quickly and conveniently share funds with friends and families. What will be an acceptance criteria? There's a tall list of an acceptance criteria. A user can initiate a payment-to-payment transfer from their online banking dashboard. A user can search for a recipient by name, phone number, or email. A user can select the amount they want to transfer. A user can add a message to the recipient. A user can review the transfer details before confirming that payment. Transfer is completed instantly for users within the same bank. Users receive notification once the transfer is complete. What are the steps for breaking down the story? First, let's define the user interface elements. Payment to payment transfer button on the dashboard. Recipient search bar, amount input field, message input field, review screen with transfer details, confirm button, implement transfer logic, validate recipient information, verify sufficient funds, deduct amount from sender's account, credit amount to recipient's account, handling of notifications, send notifications to the sender, send notifications to a recipient, integrate with existing systems, connect to the user's account database, access transaction process system, testing, test various scenarios, valid input, sufficient, insufficient funds, ensure instant transfer from the same bank account. We could also use a Gherkin syntax to help us understand the acceptance criteria. So, scenario, a successful payment to payment transfer. Given a user is logged into their online banking dashboard, when the user enters a valid recipient name and amount, and the user confirms the transfer, then the amount is deducted from the sender's account and the amount is credited to the recipient's account, and the user receives a transfer confirmation notification and the recipient receives a transfer notification. User stories are a key item in the backlog for Agile teams, and Agile teams would use the user stories to develop the intended solution that would be used by the customer. When preparing user stories, my recommendation to teams are use the use case diagram that would enable you identify multiple use cases that you could develop into a workflow and develop a happy path, alternate paths, and that would help you create a more robust set of user stories that you could easily check and verify rather than brainstorming and just having a list of user stories. The use case diagram is a good unified modeling language technique for building user stories in your backlog. All the best. Thank you.